today. Those of you who have seen our marketing and seen our posts in LinkedIn, we're originally going to be joined by Mark Shear of the Tight Fit. He had a last-minute scheduling conflict, will not be able to join us today, and I've asked Gonzalo from Amalgama to join us in his place. And let's get started. Let's let the panelists introduce themselves, and we'll dive into their unique opinions on the topic. Jen, why don't you kick us off with introductions, if you would, please?
Great, thank you. I'm Jennifer Malisi. I'm the CEO and founder of the Tight Fit. I formed the company about 2.5 years ago, and I'm a first-time entrepreneur. I have 25 years experience in financial services. And for the last 14 months or so, I've been really focused on the development of this new entity and idea. And so it's really about a three-way marketplace for studios, clients, and instructors to connect for on-demand, in-person, which is a critical component of what the Tight Fit is, classes. And so it offers flexibility to studios to utilize their space when it would otherwise be empty. Essentially, a studio, enters available studio time. It delineates classes it offers, length of time of classes, the minimum participation that they require, and ultimately that availability goes out to the end user and an instructor to indicate interest in that particular class. And so assuming conditions are complied with, like the minimum attendance and such like that, the actual on-demand class will happen in person in a studio. And I'm happy to be here today with Amalgama. They are now our development partners and helping us with our app and our admin portal.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks for that acknowledgement. We're excited to have you as a partner and a client as well. Sophie, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Sofia Biel. I'm head of product at Amalgama. I've been working in the company for the past 4 years as a product owner, and within my role, my idea is to help clients build not only digital products, but also build successful digital businesses and help them achieve their objectives. A little bit on myself, I'm industrial engineer, and before working in Amalgama, I work in different industries. And 4 years ago, I decided to make a career shift in my career path and getting depth into the challenges that the software industry has.
Great, thank you. And Gonzalo, thank you for filling in for Mark. Would love to introduce you to our audience.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm Gonzalo. I'm one of the co-founders of Amalgama. We started 10 years ago. I'm former CEO. I've been through several roles throughout these last 10 years, and my main expertise is in agile and product. About myself, I'm father of 2, married. I love sports. I know my partners since we are 7 or 8. We all knew each other from sailing. We competed nationally and internationally, and I've worked also training national and international teams in different championships in Argentina and abroad. So that's
amazing. Thank you. One of the things I want to point out, we're here talking about tech today, and I failed to tell our audience that via tech, Jen and I are in New York City, live here in New York City, and Gonzalo and Sophie are in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I suppose had I not said that, tech would have let us have that illusion for all this time. So let's, Jennifer, I'm going to get right into it with you, and thank you for telling us a little bit about the Tight Fit. Really curious about the journey, and if you could share the original vision behind the idea, and maybe we can talk a little bit about some of the early obstacles that you faced, and share that with our audience as a point of learning for their own ideas.
Sure, thanks. So the original vision of the Tight Fit came to me as a practical matter. I had gotten out of work early for some reason. Maybe the market's closed early. I am in financial services as my full-time job. And so it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I wanted to take a yoga class at one of my favorite studios. And here, they did not have anything listed available until 5 o'clock. And so it kind of dawned on me that there was an opportunity there, that, here studios are empty for significant portions of the day. And so I started, I hemmed and hawed about it for a while, and I certainly didn't think about it as a technology problem. I thought about it like a space, management problem. And so once I stepped back and thought about it and started thinking about what's a solution to this issue, right? It really came down to the fact that it's a software issue. There are these scheduling software applications, and the studios are relying on a rigid, I shouldn't say rigid, they do evolve over time, but they're pre-conscribed, right? And so, users may or may not be amenable to those particular times. So, my vision for the Tight Fit was it would run alongside or complement existing software platforms. It would allow the studio owner to actually figure out when clients want to take classes versus when they aspirationally respond to surveys about when they'll take classes. And, so this was also pre-COVID. So it was a different frame of mind than where we are now, which is even more imperative, I think, to offer, times that work for clients, as well as offering flexibility to instructors to, instruct classes when it works for their time schedule. So, the real obstacle was my mindset. I've had 25 years in financial services in a sales and marketing capacity. I do not have a technical background. And so when I started thinking about building a tech-driven company, it was, a hurdle just from a mindset standpoint. So at first I explored a no-code software platform that I was kind of advised, oh yeah, you could figure this out. Probably wrongly. In fact, I'm certain is wrong. I fortunately did figure out that I needed third-party developers to help me build this prototype. I did bring in Mark, who was supposed to be with us today. He's my husband and also now a consultant to us because he has expertise in kind of, guiding development projects along the way. And I obviously don't have that background. We hired a third-party developer and it was going well, but very slowly. So it allowed me the opportunity to talk to studios and figure out what did they really need, what worked for them, what were their challenges. And it did provide me some encouragement that what we were looking at here was providing a solution that isn't currently in the marketplace. And so in the last, 12 months or so, we've dragged our feet a bit just because for various reasons, whether it was the other firm or my own fact that we're self-financing, that sort of thing. But we fortunately found Amagama like a couple months ago. And so now we really see the opportunity to launch this app and admin portal soon with this experienced team that we have in place.
Fantastic. That's great. Gonzalo, I'm going to sort of put you on the spot a little bit because I want to talk a little about tech and your experience in that. Jennifer had mentioned about a no-code solution, and if you don't mind, it'd be great if you could give a little clarification to our audience about, how a no-code solution could potentially be used, or potentially not be used for, in a startup's journey.
Yeah, sure. Well, no-code technologies are definitely something great that any entrepreneur could leverage in order to build and like this statement, fail fast of any of the entrepreneurship ecosystem. However, it's not for everything, if you are planning to prove concept, maybe yes, but if you're planning to build specific technology upon your product, then maybe it will have a lot of limitations. So despite the fact that they tell you that without having no knowledge of coding and building digital products, they actually require certain expertise and certain mindset and experience. So it's not that easy, but yeah, they're a great tool in order to prove concept. Definitely.
I was just gonna say, like, for something simple, that makes sense, right? We're talking about a three-way marketplace, like it's complicated, that it doesn't work as well.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Con. I think that's a great key takeaway.
No.
For our viewers who are interested in building something, to get a little clarification around that. So I want to follow up with something Jennifer said about three-way marketplace, and one of those three ways is obviously the user who's actually going to use this product. Could you elaborate a bit on the challenges of designing a product that's user-centric, like the tight fit?
Yeah, definitely. I think that for every product and also obviously for fitness tech, building user-centered products is essential for being successful. I mean, as Jennifer was saying, hearing what are the user problems and the user needs is very, very important for shaping a solution around that, especially because it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to like generate a need for someone. There are a lot of needs out there and people have problems or things that could be solved in a better way. And there's where technology can fix that or offer a solution. So building user-centered solutions, hearing and emphasizing on with our users is essential. I think that the tight fit has the challenge that they have in this three-way marketplace. They have three different target users or target segments. So it has a challenge on understanding what their needs and opportunities are and build the solution that connects those three different dots in a one same solution. And that's what we are working on along with Jennifer, Mark, and the team in Amalgama on polishing and defining that solution that's best for everyone. And also this approach of user-centered solutions helps a lot in understanding differentiation of products, especially in fitness industry that has been growing a lot in the past years, and it will continue growing a lot because I think there's in the past years and now there's much more consciousness on people on health and wellness. So it's an industry that is expected to grow a lot, and that will mean that there will be always a wide range of options and a lot of competition. So understanding that sweet spot between what's on the market and what's, like we always say that having competition, direct competition, is a validation that there's an actual need on the market, but how we can differentiate with the product we are building. And the key for answering those questions is looking at the market and looking specifically to those users that will be the ones that will eventually or actually use our product that we will build. And of course, if we have and we find that sweet spot of users or offering this solution for the users that really need it, then it's much simpler, let's say, to build a business behind that. If there's not much between the problem solution, it will be very difficult to build up a business around that.
That makes sense. That makes it. Jen, speaking of user feedback, how is the market receiving the tight fit, and have you had much feedback from users, and what does that look like for you? How much has that shaped your approach?
Well, fortunately, all of our early discussions with studio owners have been very fruitful. Like they're looking for a solution for how do you monetize the fact that your studio is open or unused for multiple hours a day, right? Like, so they're definitely open to this idea. The question is, how does it actually get implemented? And so we're trying to be very careful about how we launch this MVP, so that the friction that might arise when we're disrupting the fact that they're used to their current scheduling apps, is more seamless than it could be otherwise. The end user for sure. I mean, I talked to all kinds of, obviously friends, but friends of friends even like hear about the concept and like, of course, especially post-COVID, we're in a work from home environment for a lot of the days. What about a 2 o'clock class offering? That just isn't there right now. Maybe on the one-off you see a studio doing that, but there's really an opportunity here, and I'm enheartened by the fact that like studios and the end users are looking forward to that, and instructors too. They're looking for more flexibility post-COVID. They don't want to be set on this rigid structure that they've been in for years and years. And so this I feel like it's kind of hitting all the points at one time, not to toot my own horn, but like it feels like it's kind of like this is the time, especially post-COVID, that it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Tech is playing such a big role in that, right? We were forced to technological solutions during COVID,
Right.
where in-person classes and other modalities couldn't be expressed. And now we're, I guess the whole world's in a bit of a hybrid model, even, in the workplace, and we're seeing, new technologies take advantage of that. I really was inspired by, you sharing with us how you, in real time in your real life, discovered this problem and then looked to, the classic problem solution equation, right? You had a solution that was a solution that you wish you had. And I think that's really amazing. And, God, if I could ask you to sort of follow up on that, with all your experience and everything you've been working on, with fit tech startups in particular, we're seeing so many technological advances as a result of this hybrid moment. What are you seeing as the most impactful these days?
Yeah. Before answering that question, Travis, let me say something about what regarding what Sophie and Jennifer were saying. I think one of the main challenges when undertaking a new endeavor and this kind of project is that user feedback that you need, but as entrepreneurs, we usually are on rush. We are rushing, we are so passionate about the solution we think will save everyone's lives, so we tend to develop things and don't pause and do the proper feedback because we tend to rush. So just as a comment of what they were saying, now going back to what you just asked, well, there being like a lot of new tech advances during the last years, and it is growing and growing. We could mention like many hardware train home, computer vision, motion and strength. These machines that actually help you understand if you how much strength you have and the motion if you're exercising properly and else. I would take though as one of the most important ones, wearables, because I believe that despite they're not maybe fitness itself, fitness is under the well-being umbrella. So you need, in order to train well, you need to rest well. You need to be emotionally in conditions to do it. And if you, I believe when wearables came out, in my opinion, of course, and what I heard those days, back those days, everyone was saying, hey, this is not gonna work like tablets at that time. Like, if I wanna know the time, I will take a look at my iPhone, because no one knew what the power of wearables. Nowadays, with the most advanced, I don't know, iWatch, you can run an ECG, for instance,
Right.
or the VO2 Max. Maybe not with full precise, but it's great. Not maybe you will go to a doctor after you run your ECG with your wearable, but you don't have to go in advance. And if you, these last weeks, I've been paying attention, having dinner with friends or having lunch, doing whatever. I was paying attention that everyone or almost everyone was wearing a wearable, and that's insane. It helps a lot. It helps you understand how your body actually reacts. And thanks to my wearable, actually, I have an example that actually helped me the other day. I know that if you don't sleep well, you don't have to lift. If you're going to work out, you don't have to lift too much weight, because your body will not react to your brain. So I went to the gym, and I thought I didn't sleep well, but I checked how I slept. My wearable tracks how I sleep, the quality, regularity, if I had deep sleep or REM, how many times I woke up because of my kids, and apparently I was okay. So I was going to do a different workout that day, and I decided to do the workout that I had to lift. And I don't know if this was, mental, but I could lift more than the week before, that I was actually tired, that I couldn't lift the way that I usually lift. So I would take the wearables as
Yeah,
the
it's
highest
interesting
one.
when you say that, and we think about tight fit and scheduling classes, and how we're now seeing, going back to the word hybrid again, how we're seeing that wearable data being important in the class setting for coaches or for class instructors. You name it. I think we're seeing that more and more. And that's going to lead me to a whole question I want to ask our audience, and then I'll ask the three of you after. And that question would be, do you feel technology in fitness enhances the personal touch or detracts from it? So that's a simple yes or no, but curious to see what our audience says, and then we'll jump into it, the three of us. So in the meantime, Jennifer, back to you on the tight fit. What have been some of the pivotal moments or turning points in the tight fit's tech integration journey? Now, you have mentioned not being a technical founder, but obviously you had the support of Mark. But what have been the turning points along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most pivotal thing that's happened for the tight fit is actually hiring Amalgama like a few months ago, honestly. We only had a part-time focus and a part-time team prior to this. And so the transition to a full-time, dedicated, agile framework was, it's really making a difference to how we think about the whole business and project. First, the transition went very smoothly, above and beyond my expectations. And, the implementation through Agile, it's a much more structured developmental cycle. You've proven some value add to the process, like in addition to taking like my wants and needs from a business owner, you're also adding and suggesting improvements, from both an UX and a functionality standpoint, which are, it's a huge benefit to me. And now we're getting close to our MVP launch, and it's exciting as we think about getting studios up and running with this app and admin portal. So that's really been amazing to the Tight Fits journey.
Wow, thank you for that compliment. I'm sure Sophie and Gonzalo feel the same way. Sophie, on Jennifer mentioned UX and UI, and from that perspective, that design perspective, how do you balance on the Amalgama side, right, as on the vendor side with an entrepreneur? How do you balance, the innovation that they want to bring to the user, but also is at a level of familiarity for users so they interact with the product, especially in a field of fitness where it's about habits, right, and that plays such a big role for the user.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to it's very connected to what we were previously talking about, being user-centered. And I don't want to be repetitive, but user feedback is it's key for understanding what they need, and also for finding the place for innovation on the product. The past years, metaverse and an immersive experience was up topic, and but that didn't mean that every project and every tech solution should have metaverse or AI or any trending solution that might appear in the market or in the industry. It's a matter of understanding what's that you want to achieve with a project, and what's the things that your specific users need. And aligned to that, I think it's in terms of also UX UI, understanding the trends that are going around on the industry. I totally agree with what Jennifer was saying a couple of minutes ago related to the after COVID situation. I think that COVID changed people's habits a lot in very different ways. And many people still work from home, or haven't returned 100% to office. And that flexibility and that change of schedule and that change of habits has, of course, a great impact on how they are exposed and how they use technology on their daily basis. And I think that specifically for fitness, that not in all cases, but in many cases, people are exposed to fitness more from a personal life than rather maybe professional. So the way and the moment they use technology and these specific solutions are key. And I also think that, for example, the Tight Fit that's bringing flexibility and accessibility on scheduling classes, but also examples, as Gonzalo was saying, related to wearables. People are somehow asking and requesting for accessibility in terms of or information for wearables, or accessibility on the types of technology like the Tight Fit or online training programs that are growing a lot in this past years. So understanding those trends to which our target users are exposed will help us a lot on defining what would be the best experience on our product. Said accessibility, another trend that's very post-COVID is communities, the sense of micro-communities. People have been in closure in their homes for so long, and they started getting inside communities in different ways and interacting with communities in a different way than before. So understanding all those things are key for defining and polishing the solution we want to offer to them, to make sure that it's the right one. Not only because we understood the problem or the opportunity that the solution will go and fix, let's say, but also the how, like how we will approach to those users.
Gonzalo, Jennifer, anything like to add to that from what Sophie was saying?
I don't think I have anything new to add there.
Well,
No, I'm in line.
yeah. Well, brings me to, back to sort of technology and technological shifts. We keep speaking about all these impacts that this changes in technology and circumstances, lifestyle circumstances have had a big impact, on fitness tech in particular. Gunnar, are you seeing any trends or shifts in technology that fitness entrepreneurs should be prepared for in the near future? I mean, I'm sure AI is on the top of your mind and potentially some others.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, I don't have the future ball, the crystal ball to know the future, but for sure, I'm pretty sure AI, as it is being entire 2023, as hype, is gonna be mainstream. I think what entrepreneurs and companies that are already existing companies in the field should understand that AI is part of the holistic experience. It's not just implementing technology. I think Sophie was talking about. It's not just building tech. It's not building just a bot that answers whatever you wanna ask. You have to understand what the user really needs in order to provide the technology they actually will value you and they will use. But I think AI will be a key one. Everything around health, around wearables is very important. And going deeper with that, interconnectivity. I mean, everything is interconnected. As I said before, fitness is under the well-being umbrella, so we need to cover everything. I have my gym app, and my gym app doesn't know anything about how I do with my life. So we have a lot of opportunities there to interconnect different uh, domains of my life, of users' lives. I think we have to wait and see what big players come and bring with, I don't know, the Apple Vision Pro. In my opinion, VR and AR and all metaverse things, well, as Sophie was saying, will not be the best things in fitness field. Of course, it will help a lot in other well-being domains, but those are the ones that are key for me. I would add there going deeper again with interconnectivity, communities. There are studies that say that people that train with other people train better and train more, and people that train alone tend to be more quitters. And yeah, that's why products like, I don't know, Peloton or things like that are trying to bring like the sense of community actually work. So I think it's around that and the holistic experience.
Yeah,
we'll go
totally.
with that.
I totally agree with you, Gon. I think everyone experienced sort of that solo fitness journey with or without tech during COVID, as Jen mentioned, and communities is a big part of this, and the tight fit is a way to get you to a class. Tech is not replacing the class, right?
Exactly.
It's a vehicle to get you there. The community is, not a bunch of robots, right? It's a bunch of
exactly.
Or it's an instructor, depending on the modality of class you're attending. So yeah, very, very, very interesting thought about that, and that's about the balance, right? And that's Don, I'll let you go in one second. I'm just going to ask, my assistant Panchi here, if she could put up the results from the poll so we could discuss that a little bit. But while she does that, Don, go ahead and make your
I have something else that I think entrepreneurs and everyone should understand, that technologies actually should take the part of enhancing physical activity. It's not just, as you just said, we are not robots, so we need people. We need to connect with others. So that's it.
Yeah, well, as the poll results are in, and overwhelmingly the answer is yes, that people feel that technology enhances it. Jennifer, your take? Is it a yes or a no for you?
Well, I was going to say it just enhances my thought about like on demand in person is key. Like I know I myself signed up for all these yoga or other fitness things on demand, offline, like via online, sorry, I should say not offline. And I didn't do them. Like it sounded good when I signed up, but then I get there and it's like, it doesn't feel, you don't have the connectivity, the community, like the key thing is to be in person. And so I think we can use, whether it be wearables or AI or tight fit or whatever it is, to like, let's come together as communities and within the fitness and wellness space. And I think that's only going to make everyone more successful in their endeavors that way.
Yeah, agreed. Sophie?
Yeah.
Your thought?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the answer from the audience. I think that technology like shortens the gap between fitness by itself and people that wants to do fitness. And technology, I think that also connecting with what Gon was saying previously, I think that technology helps a lot on motivation in terms of personalization. I think that technology will bring a lot of data-driven decisions that technology can make in order for creating something more appealing for each specific user, and rely on that personalization that people will start asking for or requesting. They're now doing, and they will continue doing in the future.
Yeah, agreed. And I will say for myself too, I also agree with the audience. So I think it's a balance, the tech is definitely an enhancement in all the ways described, but then I also see some huge missed opportunities by fitness companies in using technology. Scanning a QR code at the front door is not a very enticing use of tech maybe from a big box gym or a Globo gym, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose there's other gyms that are just so intense into technology that it loses the sense of community. So I do think it comes down to a balance, but I think we already all have agreed, and our audience agrees that it is definitely an enhancement. So go ahead, take a moment to take some questions from our audience while those get organized. Gon, I'll throw to you to make your point. But anyone in the audience, this is your opportunity to ask our panelists, any questions around tech or fit tech, or Jennifer around entrepreneurship, or any of the topics that we've already discussed today. Go ahead, Gon.
Yeah, I was going to say that in the end, here's the thing: technology will not train for us. They will help us in entire experience and enhance our experience. But in the end, we are the ones that should have the habit of waking up early and going to the gym and train for an hour or so, whatever. I think there are companies that know about this, that it is very important to encourage people and teach people about habits, and learnings, and make a lot of effort and invest a lot on making people understand why fitness helps in longevity, in having a healthier life and live better.
Yeah.
And how to train better, because going back to one of the innovations, which is computer vision, for instance, it helps a lot in working out better, because if you go, you can tell, Travis, that you go to a gym almost every day. You can tell that you see 80% of the people there training, doing the exercises completely wrong, and they're fortunate that they don't get much injuries, but some do. So computer visions in this as an example helps you a lot understanding whether you're leaning forward too much or not, and if you do so, and if you continue doing with that weight, you will injure your lower back. I don't know.
Sure. No, it's a great point, Don, and I think that's one of the things I will add that I think technology has given a real benefit to is I'm very fortunate that I have a sports background, and I always, almost always via coach went into training with a plan. And I think many people do, the people you mentioned in maybe in the gym or your gym, that you see sort of randomly or here and there, they don't have a plan. And technology definitely has helped change that. Going to a class has definitely helped change that. But I think any of us without a plan, we meander and don't tend to accomplish much. Tech has definitely helped with that. And even what Jen was saying earlier about the initial problem of wanting to have a plan but not being able to get there, and that restless energy of that wanting that, it's a big germ of the idea. Well, I don't want to miss out on audience questions, and the first one I'll ask comes from Ben in our audience, who is asking that he's curious to hear if you've identified a sweet spot in community-driven fitness tech that gets people to their gym, but isn't an all overbuilt social platform. So I totally get that, right? I mean, there's a lot of social media around fitness, and a lot of social media community around fitness, but back to the first part of the question, is there a sweet spot in community-driven fitness tech that any of us have identified or have an opinion on that would get people to the gym more? I think I sort of said a little bit about mine, about having a plan and using tech to have a plan. I think that's a real sweet spot that is not social media driven, but individually or personalized.
I think that personalization is key for this, in terms of motivation for users to let's say to get to their gym. And I also think that if we are talking about community-driven fitness tech, it doesn't mean that we need to build a social platform. There are a lot of platforms and technology from other industries, but a marketplace could have a community on their product. I think that for fitness, there are different tactics that could help on building community over a solution that's not a social community solution by itself. An example could be some sort of gamification or challenges between people. Like if I know that Gonzalo is training on the same gym and I receive a notification saying that Gonzalo has assisted to, 5 lessons this week and I haven't, maybe a prompt to that, in that sense of the psychology of the product and the competition into a community that's Gonzalo being part of my same gym. That could help a lot on encouraging me and motivating myself into going to the gym. This is just one tactic. I mean, besides gamification, and gamification not just earning points as Duolingo maybe does. It has a lot of psychology on behind. So different tactics like that can help on building that community in your own technology and your own solution without turning into a social community platform.
Yeah, and community doesn't mean that you need to build a social app, that you have to be around everyone. Just connecting to 1 or 2 people might be enough. to have a sense of community. So you can build features around that. Let's say, I don't know, if we know that this person trains similar hours as this ones, or have similar habits or whatever, similar size, you know, I wouldn't go to train maybe with Travis because he lifts much more weight than I do. So we can connect those people in order to have this sense of community.
Well, and then, you know, Jennifer, you've created a solution that helps get people to the gym, or get to a fitness class. Do you have any answer for Ben, who's asking this question?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I echo what Sophie and Gon said about like a separate app doesn't necessarily make sense. It's like one more place you need to go, but adding that on top of a solution that you're already engaging with, whether it be your specific gyms app or yoga studios or whatever, I think there's an opportunity there. And, you know, yeah, the gamification or competition of you and your cohorts that's a lot of incentive to get there, you know, new year, new you. Let's
Yeah,
do better.
Especially
Sure.
in fitness.
Yeah.
In
especially
terms
around.
of competition, especially in fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
competitive.
I think we've seen some success with those things, with some of the nutrition apps, and some of the walking challenges and different things we've seen through even through some early wearables, right? Well,
Yeah,
Jennifer,
running.
exactly. Jennifer, I stick with you, and as we're coming sort of closer to the end here, if you'd share with us and the audience, you know, what is the long-term vision for the Tight Fit, and you know, what are your plans to sustain and grow it? In you know, it is new year, new you, right? It's a very competitive market, especially at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, long term, there's lots of potential here, I think. You know, I think we've identified a short-term problem, but I think there's a bigger issue that let's meet clients and instructors where they want to be. And perhaps down the line, why not only offer classes where you have enough people to make the break even make sense, right? So there is an opportunity to even leapfrog into being your primary scheduling app. Like that's kind of like, you know, grand vision for what the Tight Fit could be. But, you know, it's also the case that there's a lot of businesses tangential to fitness, dance studios, that sort of thing, that also have this real estate that they're paying good money for, and they're not utilizing it 100% of the time or as much as they could be. And so I think there's an opportunity set there that we will, you know, try to be very good about adapting to and, you know, adjusting to those needs as they arise. You know, the fact is, you know, there's also opportunity for one-on-one training. You know, there are instructors who are out there, they have bandwidth, and they'd like that opportunity. And so there are ways that I envision us expanding, and you know, fitness is changing, and so we're hopefully going to be evolving with that, and especially adjusting to the way people want to spend their time, right? So
Yeah. I think we're all aligned, you know, around that community aspect, and you know, getting to that social place, even if it's a one-on-one piece. And you know, going back to the Tight Fit, I agreed, Jennifer, there's so much underutilized space and underutilized, you know, humans in the fitness industry, and tech is not the substitute for you know, for that. Well, you know, don't want to ask a closing question to the three of you, give my point of view as well, since you know, we are amazingly, as always, only a few weeks away from the end of the year. It's always a good time for predictions and thoughts on trends and you know, what's coming. It's certainly been a big year in tech, big year in fit tech, and a lot of, you know, as we mentioned, beginning of the year is the big buzz time for many things around wellness and fitness. So I ask all of you, if you have any predictions or thoughts on trends to watch for in 2024 in in our topic today around fitness and wellness tech. Jennifer, go ahead. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit biased, but sorry, there are fire engines going on. I'm in New York City.
No problem. Oh, good.
So I'm a bit biased. Like, obviously, hybrid optionality and flexibility is key, I think, right? We're talking about people who are working from home, instructors who want more flexibility. But hybrid in the current situation is more viewed as this online complement to what they're doing in studio. And I think, to my own horn, like, I think we might have some sort of, in between that allows people to continue to endorse the brands they like and go to those classes and experience them in person. But yeah, hybrid and flexibility, I think, is kind of a key thing that I think is going to continue into 2020.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree with you there. Gonzalo, you have a point of view?
Yeah, I completely agree. The importance of going to the gym and train with other people is super important. Having a coach, someone to talk to, besides having technology that will enhance that experience and support your workouts, that will also help you in this big trend during the pandemic to train home in a good way, or to go on holidays and train wherever you are. So that is something very important that any fit tech endeavor should care about. And we should not forget that we may have a great coach. You mentioned, Travis, before that you had a coach, a very good coach. So technology will not erase that position, but will help like a vast majority of people that don't have that great coach in the middle of a massive gym, let's say, and could be of help like massively.
Yeah, and a quick other side of that, is that tech can help a coach or maybe a gym location is scale their business, and I think tech could play a big part on that side as well, and will, right? I mean, I mentioned about having a plan, coach that can scale a lot of plans for a lot of individuals could have a really great revenue stream, or revenue streams, I should say. Sophie, we're going to run out of time, and I want to make sure we hear you.
Yeah, pretty aligned with what Jennifer and Gonzalo were saying. I think that technology is transforming the way people interact with their own health and wellness and fitness. And the combination of what we have spoken this past hour in terms of accessibility of information, flexibility on schedule, personalization. And I think that here AI would have a crucial play on this picture. And also user experience will somehow open a lot more new opportunities to create new digital businesses in this field.
Agreed. And I'll add my quick 2 cents, something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, for myself and for others. I think, I'm starting to see, at least here in New York City, a lot of people taking advantage of weight loss drugs with their doctor, things like Ozempic and others. And their motivation to go to the gym is becoming less and less weight loss, because now there's, for better or worse, an easy solution. But that's turning quickly, I believe, into longevity and wanting to train for longevity, being healthier, wanting to live longer. And I think we'll see more trends around that. And DNA testing or genetic testing before it, wearable data will give people a lot of insights into their longevity and how to, train however they choose or eat however they choose, for that goal. But I want to thank you all for joining and thank our audience for joining. Really appreciate this engaging conversation that we've had today. First off, Jennifer, where can our audience and anyone watching the replay of this video find out and learn about the Tight Fit?
Yeah, so our website is thetightfit.com. So if you're interested in learning more, we do have a demo sign-up sheet that you can submit information on. And you know, I just want to say thank you to Amagama to this opportunity to be with you today.
Thanks for having us. And
It's
really,
a
I'm
pleasure.
going to echo Jennifer's invitation for any, small business owner who's got remnant or leftover space that they want to fill, use the Tight Fit, get those classes filled.
Definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to thank everyone again for coming and share that if anyone on this would like to learn more about this topic or discuss anything about fit tech, please find myself or Gonzalo and Sophie you can find us on LinkedIn, connect with us. We're all very open to that. And you could also find out more about Amagama at amagama.co. We'll put that up in the chat, spelled out for everybody. And thanks again. We look forward to continuing these discussions in the new year. For our loyal viewers, this will be our last webinar from Amagama for this year, but we'll be back in the new year with hopefully more exciting topics. And would love to hear from our audience about anything they'd like to learn about in 2024. So happy holiday season to everybody, and take care, and we'll see you.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
Bye.